Hello and welcome back to the DFS Fantasy Premier League show brought to you by VIP-bet.com. I'm your host, Kevin DeVries. Joining me, as always, in that box right there is my good friend and partner in crime, Rob Langevin. Rob, after all the weird midweek shenanigans, we have a monster slate here on Saturday. 7 matches. You have huge clubs on here. You got United versus Arsenal, obviously the big one. You also have Liverpool on the slate. And Tottenham versus Watford, which 2 weeks ago would have seemed like a battle of the top 6. Now I think both of them are out of the top 6. Are there any particular matches that you're really excited for DFS-wise?
No, not really. I mean, this starch gets taken out of the United Arsenal match because people don't like to face big teams against big teams, especially in a daily format, because they don't know what really is going to happen. United still is one of the top defensive teams in the Premier. Arsenal's showing out a little bit better recently. I think they have like six cleans in their last 8 games played, so they're rounding into form, I'll say, but is better. Maybe it's a good luck charm like Shkodran Mustafi or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's got an interesting array of mixes of teams. There's the bottom feeders, and then you have Liverpool, and then you have United, Arsenal, Spurs. Burnley, is a top team now because they are ahead of Spurs. So you have to count them in with the better teams. I kid, Kevin, because you're a Spurs fan. I'm
It's true.
joking.
Burnley have been very good though, and to their credit. We really don't have much time to dilly and or dally, considering how many matches are on the slate. So we'll just dive into it. First, I'll talk to you guys about Brighton versus Liverpool. I don't know how it could be anyone other than Mohamed Salah. He scored twice as many goals than any other player over the last 5 matches in the Premier League. You don't have to worry about. It's not 7, and then the next closest is 3. They're like 4 players on 3. Alexis, Sterling, Hazard, Martial, Rooney, and Wilson. Rooney and Wilson's, of course, happening in just 1 match each, as each of them have notched hat tricks of late. But yeah, Salah is just absolutely on fire. You don't even have to worry about rotation because he was rotated midweek and still scored 2 goals anyway. It's just absolutely ridiculous. To Brighton's credit, they actually have a top 5 defense over the last 5 matches. But honestly, I don't think there is a force on earth that could stop Mohamed Salah at the moment. So I'm rolling with him even though he's 11-3. Just ridiculous ability right now. My dislike is going to be Glenn Murray at 4,800. He got a lot of shine a few weeks back. He had 2 or 3 good matches in a row, but things have really fallen off a cliff for him. Only 2 total shots over the last 3 matches. And it's not like he wasn't starting those. He started at least he played at least 60 minutes in each of those, starting all of them. So the Glenn Murray show seems to have hit the skids there a little bit. Liverpool have the best away attack over the last month as well, so I don't really like the Brighton defenders. Even though they have been doing well, I think really it tempers your excitement over the Liverpool attackers, but it doesn't make Brighton's defense worth owning either. I do think Liverpool will take care of things here, but Liverpool's away defense not very good, so I'm going to say Liverpool win 3-1.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I don't know if Brighton get on the board. I know Liverpool's propensity to give up goals is different home and away, and they are away here, so I don't know how leaky their defense is going to be. Listen, if your team doesn't feature the one, the only, the Egyptian magician Mohamed Salah, I don't know what you're doing DFS wise or actual Premier official game wise. At 11-3, he looks expensive, but he probably really isn't, because if he gives any kind of return, like Kevin just mentioned, 7 goals in his last whatever and double more than everybody, he's awesome. He's basically awesome. He should be owned universally everywhere this week. Score wise, I'll agree with you. I think Liverpool get 3, but I'm not sure Brighton get any.
Fair enough. We'll move on to you talking about Huddleston. Nope, Tom Huddleston. Huddersfield versus Everton. Everton obviously popped up with the surprise result. Well, only if you thought West Ham was good. But they finally get a big win. They finally get a clean sheet. It was their first since August that they held against West Ham. Obviously, Rooney was the star of the show with his hat trick. Also, Sigurdsson doing a little bit. Everton, surprisingly, top 5 in attack over the last 5 matches. Are you buying it against a Huddersfield defense that has been sorely lacking of late?
I'm absolutely buying it this week. Only for one reason. I think Everton are hitting their stride against a team that's can't even find legs and are in a wheelchair right now, Huddersfield. The Terriers are wounded. They need to go to the vet. They've given up 11 goals in their last 3 games. It's not looking good. And Everton, just coming off the performance we just saw, Wayne Rooney scored a hatter. Like you mentioned, Sigurdsson is finding his form, I think, a little bit. And it's funny, I mentioned both those names. My like for this match is Gylfi Sigurdsson at 8,200. I think he's matching up against a Huddersfield team that is just going to be weak in the knees, barely can breathe, stuff like that. I'll insert your R&B song. But
End of the road.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like Gylfi this week. Returns of 13, 17, and 16. The only problem is that he's at 8,200.
Yeah.
Given what Everton has been known to do and what they've been doing, what we've seen except for last week, it's kind of a head scratcher because he is more higher priced than guys on the slate that actually have been doing well every week, like a Richarlison. So heed my warning that Gylfi is probably going to do something, but don't get heavily invested if you're one of those people who do multiple entries. My dislike, it's got to be Wayne Rooney at 8,400. Listen, I will bet all my toes and my fingers that he doesn't score a hat trick again. I don't need them anyway, but he's not going to do it. Listen, what we saw last week from Wayne Rooney was the right time, right situation, and a goal on the other side of the half. Yeah, that's not going to happen every week. I know Huddersfield is bad. They're gonna ship some goals in this game. And another factor that I don't really like Rooney is Omar Niasse is eligible and back for selection in this game. So that could come into process here. People are gonna select Wayne Rooney this week just based on what they saw last week. Oh, he had 3 goals. He's gonna do it again, but it's not gonna happen. Don't waste your 8,400. Score wise, I don't think Huddersfield scored, and I think Everton get 2.
Yeah, I could see this kind of being a sneaky 0-0. Just because Huddersfield have the defensive pieces, they just haven't been putting them together lately. I do think Everton win this, though. Your Niasse shot is an interesting one because I was a little bit high on Calvert-Lewin this week, but he may not get the start with Niasse available. Yeah, I'll say Everton 2-0. I think Siggy, as you say, will be the star of the show as well. Moving on to Leicester versus Burnley. My like is going to be Johan Berg Gudmundsson, which is funny. Rob, you were a fan of him like a year and a half ago, like 2 years ago now.
Last year.
Yeah, but he has been sneaking around fantasy relevance for the past few weeks now, and actually has more assists over the last 5 matches than every player not named Mesut Ozil, which is pretty impressive for him. And you all of a sudden have Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood starting to fire a little bit more. They did play for a few minutes together last week. I think that may benefit them in the short term. Playing a 4-4-2 instead of the 4-5-1, which just isolates the striker and really doesn't help them a whole lot. Their defense is already solid enough. You don't need that extra midfielder protecting the back line. With the chances that they're creating, him and Brady, I think with the forwards finally starting to get going a little bit, we'll start to see Burnley being better attacking-wise. The only downside for them right now is the defense, but we'll get to that in a second. Another player I like is Mark Albrighton. I've always been a fan of him, especially in draft styles, just because of how much he crosses the ball. 2 really good back-to-back performances, but obviously Burnley's defense has been very good. But my dislike here is going to be Stephen Ward at 4,100. He is beloved and very highly owned in the official game. So if you're coming to DFS from the official game, leave your Stephen Wards at the door. Does not really help in this format. He has not had a double-digit performance since the first week of the season against Chelsea when he had the goal. So that is not something that you really want in this format. It keeps being like 5s and 8s across the back. And also Burnley are starting to get a little West Brom-y, and they're conceding of late goals that are pretty soft. So the clean sheets aren't even guaranteed anymore. So unfortunately, as much as I love Stephen Ward in the official game, in this one, maybe not so much. Leicester have been doing better. I mean, the Vardy and Mahrez have been returning to form. Their 2 goals against Tottenham were just a little bit out of nowhere and pretty rude, but both very well taken. If they're in that kind of form and confidence, I think that things could get a little dangerous for us here pretty quick. All right, yeah. So I'll go 1-1. I'll go with a draw.
That's a good call. I think both teams actually get on the score sheet. I don't think either defense is stout enough, especially with Leicester with a propensity to show. And it's interesting that Mahrez's price is 6,800. It was slowly climbing, then it slowly went back down, and now it's kind of like medium out right now. But at 6,800 based on the returns that he's given you basically over the last month, you could do worse than 6,800 for Riyad Mahrez. Score wise, 1-1 is a good call, Kev.
Well, thank you. Coming to you now talking about Swansea versus Stoke. This is...
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Don't watch this one. Should anybody own anybody from it?
Yeah. If you're going to own somebody, this is a defensive game probably. This is your punt. You're going lost and trying to find a way.
This is your Swansea Burnley of like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, exactly. This is one of your investment is like, oh, I only have 3,800 left to spend. Where is my defender coming from? It's coming from the Swansea Stoke game, but probably mostly from Stoke because Swansea just cannot score. They have not scored a goal in 4 games. Four
Oof.
games. 4 games.
It's not good.
Nope. So that's why my like this week is a Stoke defender. I'm going with Kurt Zuma,
Ooh.
4,000. Last 3 games, 7, 5, and 15. The 15 he did have a goal. So his score does look a little better. He's not going to kill you. He's not going to do a lot. He's not going to get up the pitch. He's not going to cross. He's not going to, do the intrinsic things that will win you DFS. But at 4,000, it allows you to go up to another midfielder, different price range. For my dislikes, I want to say a lot, and I actually wrote that in my notes, a lot with an LOL next to it. But I'm not liking Shaqiri in this game. At 8,800, look at the names on this slate that are comparable in around him. Alexis Sanchez is only 8,900. Romelu Lukaku is 8,600. Dele Alli, 8,300. Shaqiri does a lot of things DFS right. But in this matchup, he's not going to be anything worthy of something like that. You want to save your dollars for Liverpool, or even if you wanted to invest in Watford, or if you feel so cheeky and wanted a piece of the late game with United and Arsenal, their prices with the Ramses and Alexis Sanchez, like I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But Shaqiri, like I said, he does a lot of things right, just not this slate at 8,800. Score wise, I'd like to say it'd be -4 to -4, and have it mean something.
Unlikely.
I'm gonna say 0-0 because neither team can score and neither team can defend. So I think it's a double negative and it erases it out.
Yeah, could well be a 0-0. We've heard Paul Clement say that he's going to play Tammy Abraham and Boney up front together, but that doesn't fix the issue, which is there are no chances for them to finish anyway. And then there's still issues around Boney's finishing ever since he left that club in the first place. I'm going to say 1-0. I'm going to say that somebody at Stoke does something, if it's E equals MC squared, or maybe GF pops up with a random something, or I don't know, something. It's
going to be ECMC.
There it is. But yeah, I think Stoke will probably win this one, which will probably get Paul Clement the sack as well. Although, keep holding off on them in fantasy because the issue is not the manager. It is very much the squad there. Jumping over to Watford versus Tottenham. You can expect a lot of Spurs homerism usually from me. Not this week. Things not going very well for Tottenham. But I will go chalk, which is something I'm often accused of, with Richarlison at 7,900. I do hate being this predictable, but Tottenham have been having really big issues on the right side of their defense ever since Toby Alderweireld's been missing, ever since he got hurt against Real Madrid. Albrighton, Alexis, and Martial, all players that have had very good performances against Tottenham over the last 5 weeks on their respective left wing, the right side of Tottenham's defense. It's been a rotation of Trippier and Aurier, both of whom are expected more forward than backward. You want them more in attack than in defense. Davinson Sanchez is a very good defender in his own right. He's still very young, still makes mistakes. One of those mistakes is he keeps allowing a little space in behind Dyer and in front of him, where people keep running in. Alexis did it last week. Albrighton did it. Vardy did it on his goal. So that in-cutting player from the left has been very dangerous for Tottenham, and that is entirely what Richarlison does constantly. So do not be surprised if he knocks in a goal or gets an assist in this one. My dislike is going to be Christian Eriksen. He's now gotten neither a goal or assist in 6 straight matches. In his presser today, Pochettino said that Eriksen is very mentally tired, which I think is coach speak for, he's not going to play on Saturday. I think Heung-min Son will get the start instead. I think Son would be a very interesting option. But right now, on the whole, Tottenham attackers, you got to give a little bit of a side eye to. In fact, all Tottenham players, fun fact, Tottenham have neither a top 10 attack or defense over the last 5 matches.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's completely mind-boggling.
It is. They were first. They were first in both last season for the whole year. And right now, not even in the top 10 of either. I'm going to say this is a 2-2.
Ooh, that's a lot of goals.
I mean, we've seen it from Watford. I honestly think if there's a side you have to be a little more worried about scoring goals, it's Tottenham.
I wish we could just take like a half at a time for Watford, because at a half they look awful and then a half they look great.
Yeah.
Like if you take last week's match against United, they looked fantastic in the second half and crap in the first. It was like a going against the Goliath. I fear that again this week, that they're playing a bigger team. They're kind of going to be shocked out of their system that they're playing bigger name teams, and they're going to be on the pitch with Harry Kane, Ali, and Eriksson.
Yeah.
Richarlison's price has gone down 3,000 from 3 weeks ago when we highlighted him at 10,100.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that his price is basically fluctuating based on slate, and guessing that the names on here are more prominent in fantasy realms than his right now. It's interesting to know that he could probably be had at a bargain this week and probably give you the same amount of return.
Yeah.
Score-wise, 2-2 is a good call, but I'll go one less. I'll go 1-1. I think they tie it up.
Fair enough. We'll come to you in case people are seeing me drifting off screen. It's because my computer is about to die while we're streaming this, which is bad. But to save me from that embarrassment, Rob, we'll just jump to you right away to talk to us about Crystal Palace versus West Brom. A lot of confusion around these two clubs. Alan Pardew obviously was at Crystal Palace for a long time. He's now on the West Brom sideline there. What are you thinking we're going to see in this one?
Yeah, somehow with the way the slates, the games lined up this week, I got like 4 of the bottom 6
Oh, they're
teams.
Awful. They're real trash.
I want to thank Kevin for that, for winning the coin toss. But yeah, Crystal Palace is starting to shape a little bit more into form, and they're still not fantastic. They're still bottom of the table, or at least they're still losing.
Technical issues, etc.
But the person I like this week is Andres Townsend at 7,100.
Mm-hmm.
I only really like him if Benteke doesn't play. If Benteke does play, I would completely shift off of Andres Townsend and then completely dull down into a Ruben Loftus-Cheek at 4,800. Look at Loftus-Cheek's 3 returns, 5, 17, and 8 in his last 3. It's quality for 4,800, so you're getting a good bang for your buck, and he is involved in a lot of the midfield play. My dislike, basically any team's defense. I don't like it.
Yeah.
They're all gonna give up goals, and they all start at 4,400 and under, so it all looks like a bargain. And when Patrick Van Aanholt is 4,400, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on it, you probably should just throw it back and put it in the garbage because you don't want it at all.
Yeah.
Score wise, neither team is gonna light up the net here, but it's gonna be I'll say 1-0 Palace.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to go with as well. Just Palace creating loads of chances right now with Townsend and Cabaye both sitting top 5 in both chances created and accurate crosses over the last 5 matches. You got to imagine that's going to turn into something soon. West Brom's defense obviously shambles, and Alan Pardew will not fix their defense. We'll wrap up here with Manchester United versus Arsenal. For me, I think I might actually get some pushback from Rob here, but I'm going to go Mesut Ozil. I brought him up a couple of weeks back because his stats were really starting to spike, especially in chances created. And that kind of culminated last week, like 2 days ago, when he had a massive match. Obviously had the goal and the 2 assists. That performance, as I said, was coming. What is it? He's started and currently sits top 3 in chances created in the last 3 matches. He's also there in the top in the last 5. He leads the league, and on the season he's 3rd, having had at least 2 starts fewer than the 2 people in front of him, which are Fabregas and Kevin De Bruyne. So he's been churning out those chances created a lot lately. I think it looks like it's going to be Giroud. It looks like Lacazette has a hamstring injury. That's why he was pulled early. Ozil has always had very good chemistry with Giroud ever since they both wound up at Arsenal. So I think that also benefits him. Also, I think he's a very interesting differential because I think a lot of people will shy away because of the Manchester United defense. Rob, I'm sure you know this, the folks at home may not. Manchester United have not kept a clean sheet since Phil Jones' injury. They failed to do so in 3 consecutive matches for the first time this season. So I think the Arsenal guys are a little sneaky. Also sneaky Aaron Ramsey, even sneakier than Mesut Ozil, who just continues to get... He doesn't get loads of points any week, but he gets some points every week, which obviously has a lot of fantasy value in and of itself there. My dislike is obviously going to be Romelu Lukaku. He keeps being highly owned in all formats, and it's just really not going your way right now. Just 1 goal since Halloween. Just 1. Yet he's the 2nd most expensive player on the slate, the 6th most expensive player total. It's just very strange. Arsenal's defense, I know you mentioned in the Open, have been getting better and better as of late. You should definitely look elsewhere other than Romelu Lukaku this week. We'll head into our teams now. Rob, who are you looking at this week?
I'll start up top. I got Gylfi Sigurdsson and Jamie Vardy in the forward spots. I think both probably have some kind of significance. You can't ever count Jamie Vardy out from not scoring a goal.
Yeah.
It's 50-50 that he's going to score, and I like the 50 side that he's going to score this week against Burnley. Through the midfield, Andres Townsend, I have him in prematurely. It's based on the Crystal Palace roster, like I mentioned. If Benteke plays, I don't really like him because I think he gets pushed down the tree. Yeah. He doesn't have a much access to the front. I paired him up with Mo Salah. Obviously, if you listen to anything we said about Liverpool, he's a must. He's going to be the most owned player this week, easily. On defense, I have Kurt Zouma, and I paired him up with Zigzag Marvin Ziegler from Watford. In goal, I have Herlihy Gomis from Watford. I'm banking on that he's going to get more save points than allow goal points. So, and then my utility is I have Ruben Loftus-Cheek there, but like I said, that's my change over if Townsend doesn't start. I have Loftus-Cheek, and then to switch to somebody at a 7,100 point, the dollar value.
Yeah, I like it. My team here, Mohamed Salah and Richarlison lead the line for me. I'm a little uneasy with the fact that neither of them are true strikers. I usually like to have at least one, but obviously they contribute in other ways, which can be beneficial at times. I paired two guys I already talked about here, in Gudmundsson and Özil as well. Oh, well, all four guys that started my team I talked about already. So now into people I didn't talk about. Mamadou Sakho, West Brom very much struggling to find the back of the net. And Sakho is still one of the 10 best center backs in the Premier League. Sometimes you just get drawn by name recognition. Very low price, 3,100 against a very poor attack. I just like me some Sakho this week. I've paired him with Wayne Hennessy, who was leading the league in saves before he was switched out for Speroni. Again, think he could very well be in line for the clean sheet and the win against West Brom. Defensively, also brought in Bruno Martins-Indy. Dutch defender. Obviously the Stoke defense has been kind of iffy, but they're also facing Swansea, so kind of taking a bit of a gamble defensively this week on meh defenses playing worse attacks and just kind of hoping there. In my util, I have your boy Dominic Calvert-Lewin, although with you reminding me that Nias is back, may move that around. I mentioned Ramsey earlier, could easily put him in there at that same 6,100 price. Rob, what do you think will be points wise with so many teams on the slate this week?
Well, you still only get to select 9 guys, so yep. I mean, your point total doesn't go up it's only based on your selection. So it's always consistently between 125 and 150. So I'm gonna stay 140ish. Liverpool's gonna score some goals. I think people are gonna be scared away by the United Arsenal match, but like you said, Özil is excellent value right now, and I think both teams are going to light it up. And don't be surprised. I know you hate Lukaku this week. Don't be surprised if you see his Zlatan start from the beginning game.
Ooh, that's a great shout. Oh, I'd really like that. I'd really like that indeed. All right, that'll do it for us this week. Apologies on my side for the technical issues there in the middle. Rob was a trooper, of course. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, FPL_MNOP, and you can find my writings, musings, and stylings about fantasy soccer or football, depending on where you're from, Razzball.com.
Yep, and I'm your other host, Kevin DeVries. You can find me at goal.com. Thanks again, Rob, and thanks to you guys at home. Hopefully you have a good week for your fantasy teams, and we'll catch you next